Hey friends, me again. So our next math lesson, we're going to kind of work on our quadrilaterals, but we're going to take it a little bit further. And today we're going to talk about perimeter. And we've mentioned it quite a bit in our last number corner, and we mentioned it, dabbled in it a little bit before we left. Now it's similar to area, but it's also very different. So area is everything on the inside, and you use the square tiles. Perimeter is everything on the outside. So if you're building a fence or you're trying to enclose something, you want to know everything on the outside of that. So we have our vocab word perimeter, and it actually shows you that you can find the perimeter of any figure as long as you know all the outsides. So remember our tiles that we used, the linear tiles, the red ones. Okay, so they're showing you that everything on the outside. So we're going to be working with quadrilaterals today and finding the perimeter of some of our quadrilaterals, which means there's going to be four sides. So you have to find the length of all four sides. If I were doing a hexagon, I would need to find the length of all six sides. But because we're working on quadrilaterals, it will just be the four sides. So perimeter, the distance in linear units around a 2D or flat shape. Okay, so if we were talking about a circle, which we're not because it's not a quadrilateral, we would be talking, that would be called a circumference. Okay, so perimeter, keep that one in your mind. Now when we find perimeter of the shape, we add all the outsides. We do not multiply, we add. When we find area, we multiply. That is the difference. So today we're going to be working with perimeter of a variety of quadrilaterals. I am actually going to do an example with you, and then you're going to have four to do on your own. So this is like a two-part lesson because they want you to be able to measure your shapes to the nearest centimeter, and then they want you to find the perimeter. Well, it's kind of hard for you to be able to measure my exact shapes that I make. So I will actually give you two of your four sides on the template that I'm going to assign to you, and you just have to find that last side. Because when one side, oftentimes if they're parallel to each other, they'll be the same length. So I won't make anything too challenging for you today. I'll try to make sure that it stays within the lines so that you can figure it out. Okay, like a square. That would be pretty simple. If I give you one length, you're going to know all the other ones because a square has all equal sides. Now, if I were to give you a trapezoid, okay, he has three different side lengths. He's got the top, the bottom that are different, and then the two sides that are different, but then those sides are the same as each other. So you're going to have four quadrilaterals to do today, but I will do an example. So here's my shape, okay? Now, it kind of looks like a square, but before I double check, we're going to use to the nearest centimeter today. So I get my ruler out. It is, let's see if I can line it up. Closest it would be is 8. That side's 8. And then this one, I'm going to measure it. Closest to the nearest centimeter would be 10. So an 8 by 10. So an 8 by 10 is definitely not a square. This would be a rectangle. So I'm going to write right on my shape that's a rectangle. So I know the quadrilateral that I'm working with right now is a rectangle. Now to find the perimeter, it's all your units on the outside. So I need to measure all four sides to be able to get that. Now, if you're someone that's already thinking, well, Mrs. Crocker, these two sides are the same length, and these two sides are the same length because that's what makes a rectangle, you're right. So I really only need to measure these two sides. So let's go ahead and measure it. I figured out already if I line it up, okay, my silly roller's giving me a pain. Okay, if I line it up on the edge, I line it 0 and down here, 10. It is 10 centimeters. So 10 cm, 10 centimeters. Okay. Again, I'm going to measure this side length. Line it up at 0. Measure here. Closest to 8. because we're measuring to the nearest centimeter, not half, not quarter, to the nearest. So if I know this side, then this side is 10 as well. This side is 8, then I know this side is 8. And I always like to label mine so that I can remember what I'm measuring. Okay? So 10, 10, 8, and 8. Now if we think about that, okay, how do we find perimeter? Now perimeter is, remember, adding up all your linear units on the outside. Okay? So I have 10 on this side, 8 on this side, 10 on this side, 8 on this side. Now the way my brain works, which again, this is just how mine is, yours could be a little bit different, is I like to add up my two 10s first. Know that makes a 20. Know that 8 and 8 is 16. Okay, and then I can add 20 and 16 because it sends it to 0. So it's 36 centimeters. Okay, so we're just adding everything on the outside. So this is exactly what you're going to be doing today, friends. I'm going to give you 4 shapes on 4 separate pieces of paper on Seesaw. Okay, so you'll have to go through the 4 pages. And you're just going to find the missing side, whatever side I give you. I will be putting a ruler on it so you can just follow the ruler down to the nearest centimeter. And then finding the area. So show me your work off to the side. Okay, friends? So I will show you one more shape. These are all your shapes, so you can get a preview of what you're going to be doing. The one you and I are going to do right now is this shape right here. So you see how there's a blank spot? What is this shape called? Friends, what do you think this one's called? An octagon. No, that's not 8-sided. Square. Nope, because it doesn't have any right angles. You're right, friends. It's a rhombus. Okay, now I've got to find its perimeter. Okay, so I'm missing all the side lengths. I left it hard for myself. So I'm going to line it up from one edge down to the next vertice. And if you look, it is 8. 0 to 8. 8 is this. So I'm going to write it right on the spot. 8 centimeters. I'm going to turn my paper. So I can now measure this guy. 8 centimeters. I wonder if I'm figuring something out. Because rhombuses are just like squares. They have all the same length. So what do you think the other 2 sides are going to have? Hey, look at that. That is also 8 centimeters. I wonder if my last side is going to have 8 centimeters. And looky there, sure is 8 centimeters. Now, to find the perimeter, friends, we're not going to be multiplying anything. We are adding all 4 sides together. So I'm going to add it off to the side because I like to do it right next to my workspace. So 8, 8, 8, and 8. And again, my brain works to put the simple numbers together for me first. 8 and 8, 16. 8 and 8, 16. 16 and 16 is 32. Okay, so the perimeter is 32 centimeters. Okay, friends, so your job today, attached to the Seesaw activity, is you are going to have 4 separate pages that you have to click through. I'll be putting 4 shapes on there. I'll be labeling some of the sides already for you because I couldn't find a ruler program that you could move the ruler around to measure yourself. Okay, so I will take a picture of a ruler and you'll have it perfectly lined up already. All you'll have to do is measure down. Okay, so you'll just have to follow it down. So say you went all the way here, it'd be 11. That's all you'll have to do. Remember, when finding perimeter, it is adding all sides. We're working with quadrilaterals, so you'll only be adding 4 sides together today. Okay. If you have any questions, your teachers know how to find the perimeter, so they can certainly help you. Okay, so 4 shapes today. You're labeling what they're called, what is their scientific name. Okay, just like I did with the rhombus. And then you'll be finding the missing side and then adding them all to find the perimeter. Okay, friends? Have a great day and enjoy your perimeter search.